what Cromwell did and Ireton did about the people here, that they executed them all and annihilated them. And then for the treaty, if they didn't sign it, there would be immediate and terrible war. And Irish people knew exactly, because they knew exactly what happened in 1155.
Yes, of course they did.
And what happened the whole way down.
Yes.
That's what we want to stop. We want to get on with our lives and get on with Britain, with England, Scotland and Wales.
Of course, yes.
Because we were part of them one time. And yet we're thrown outside, and all they want us is to be slaves. And our people have no say in that. Our people are sovereign.
Yes.
People in Britain can be subjects if they wanted to the
royalty,
crown.
yes.
And the loyalists, they want to be subject to the crown. They don't want to be.
But that's their right.
Sovereign.
That is their right.
If they want to be slaves,
absolutely.
they can be slaves.
Yes.
We don't want to be slaves. And this is where that.
We've had nearly 1,000 years of slavery. So I'm just going to read a
this
paragraph
is what Colin
here.
says now.
Right.
And remember
yes.
what they said on RTE on the 6th of December.
I'll get you to actually repeat that in a minute when I read this. Yeah. This is now written by Michael Collins. It goes on to say, De Valera showed me on a telegraphed appeal to the Irish people sent from London that morning by Art O'Brien, head of the Irish Self-Determination
How far are you going on that?
Now, am I reading the right one?
No.
No, sorry.
That has been moved.
All right. Sorry. Oh, here we are. Oh, sorry, pardon me. Okay. Sorry, folks. Now, this again is repeated by Michael Collins. World opinion, as voiced in a newspaper editorial and in expressions of private individuals which reached me, condemned me for entering into this pact with De Valera in the light of what has happened since. The condemnation may appear to be justified. Yet I cannot bring myself to believe that it was not my duty to have done what I did. In my official capacity as chairman of the provisional government, I had no right to evade the duty I owed the Irish people, and the paramount responsibility resting upon me was to make any sacrifice that might spare the Irish nation from civil war.
No, isn't that? And here every day
that
you
is
see
a declaration.
Dáil Éireann. You hear
yes.
Dáil Éireann was the 21st of January 19. That was the sovereign independent government.
Yes.
And here it is here. Look.
Yep.
And look.
Grand.
Can you see that?
I can, of course, perfectly.
And look at the 21st of 1st. Look at the sovereign seals.
Yes.
Look at that. That's the 1918-32 county election.
Mm-hmm.
And you cannot understand that, and we're going to show you the proclamation in a moment. This is going back to 1155.
Yes.
This is the sovereign Irish people. 6 to 8 million annihilated.
Yes.
And the young people sold as slaves.
That's part of our history we never know.
I mean,
we didn't know that.
They still have the sovereign seal up in their in Montserrat on their coat of arms.
Yes.
And people there used to speak with Cork accents, speak Irish, and these were and they were bred in these places because they were more valuable slaves.
It's a frightening scenario.
And Irish people know nothing about it.
No,
and that's why we have 70 million Irish people worldwide, and they're all our people. And it's time they were told the truth.
I think so. Absolutely.
And it's time that. I mean, I saw it. They showed it there on Bertie Hearn standing up and thanking the Royal Dáil for. He said, "Thank Dáil Éireann." Dáil Éireann has never sat in the Mansion House. The Mansion House was bought. Collins went down. He was president of the IRB up to then. He was Minister for Finance. He went down with the Free State and the British government.
Yes.
And they bought the lease of Leinster House
yes.
for the Free State to impose a British, it's a royal oireachtas to pay for Britain's war debts and war pensions. That's what you're paying for. And do you want your children to be slaves again.
Well, you see, this
And
central
it's up
question.
to you now. I'm 78 and I'm on the way out.
You only look like 60.
Thanks, John.
You only look like
but
60.
you have to do it yourself. It's the people are sovereign.
It's the people, yes, the people
that's
that
what it's-
this message has to drop. And the one thing, Billy, I just want to say in conclusion to this section is this.
I want to show you something before you take this off.
Okay. I just want to tell viewers just to thank the people across the United States that are giving such support to these programs.
Yes.
And, you know, to Chris Fogarty and all of the other men and women out there in the States that are supporting these programs, these interviews, Billy, with you.
Yes.
And I just have to thank them. And it's a wonderful feeling that it is gaining huge momentum, the What Matters program with Billy McGuire, over the last year and a half since I've got to know you.
Have you a little bit left of that?
Yes, yep, here we are.
That's the medal, look.
Yes.
There, and that's,
Yes.
look, you can see it yourself. It's all up to Billy McGuire.
It is. BillyMcGuire.com, folks,
If you give me that
is the
little box,
website.
the green box,
Yes, I will, of course.
that's the actual medal, 1910.
Right.
And it has, look, the sovereign seal and era on it.
Okay, we'll
And
just bring
that's
it a
what they
bit
took
closer
off.
here now, folks, to have a look at that. I'm sorry, it's a bit shaded, but we'll get it. We'll get it. Yep, there you have it.
And they look, you see what
Look
they
at
should they had no right to do that.
No, not at all. No.
You know, that's...
Thank you, Billy. Yes. And they had no right to do that at all.
No.
And this
That's
begs...
if they can do that, they can enslave you again. Now give me that. Look, it's the very same.
Yes.
That's
It's
on
actually
that. Show that now.
it's on our passports as well.
And it has to have era underneath
Yes.
it. If
To make
doesn't-
it legal.
to make it legal,
Yes.
valid, and bona fides.
Yes.
That's why it's so important.
Okay.
And
Thank
nobody
you,
can
Billy.
change that.
No.
Because if they can put your children back into slavery for those back
I
then.
will, of course. Now, you see, Billy, that is it. And I'm so, Billy, personally, I'm just so enraged to hear about the slavery, to hear about Pope Adrian did in the name of Christ.
Yes.
You know, and as if we were in Hibernia, we call it, as if we were a toy or a wrapped gift, gave it over to
The Crown of England.
the Crown of England.
To do what he liked.
Sure. No wonder we
So-
had 8 or 9 or 1,000 years of absolute mayhem in this
Mayhem.
country.
We
And
don't want
bloodshed spilled by people going back to the 1700s, men, women and children murdered, I call it murdered now, in 1845 to 1847, when there was loads of food there. Now, in my opinion, a campaign should be brought to the surface about to the crimes against humanity, because that is one of them
Well,
that
this is
stands
what
out.
we want to do. And this is what, if the Crown of England and Pope Francis doesn't do it, it has to go. It's a Holocaust. And the
I
Holocaust-
agree, it is. It is a
It
holocaust.
has to go to Europe, to the Holocaust, to the courts. and
Correct.
Let them decide.
Yes, let them
We
decide.
cannot have another, many years since 1155 today, and we cannot have another 100 years of another mayhem and savagery.
No.
You know, and the world, you know, to look after planet Earth, that's what it is. We only do sovereignty. We're
Correct.
not a religious organisation. We've come down through all those and kept it alive. And that's all I was anointed to do, was to keep this alive, to talk to you today, John,
Yes.
in 1950. But I can't go any further because I'm up against this brick wall all the time. Oh, don't mention it. Don't say a word.
But you know why, Billy? There's a famous line in a court case, a military court case years ago. And it was just simply, it has always stuck in my mind. They can't handle the truth. And that's as relevant here now. Today, yesterday, 100 years ago, 800 years ago, the Crown and the Irish government, they can't handle the truth. That's what it's down to be.
And not only, but there's another one, John. These politicians and judiciary are so well paid.
Yes.
They don't want anyone to change it.
No, they don't.
Or their pensions or their expenses.
No, not
and
at all.
these are paid to sort out this.
And you see, this
And
is
they
where
won't do it.
you are absolutely correct. We are slaves.
They
We are slaves because our taxes are going to pay for high salaries, high
Pensions.
wages, high this, high that, look at the
There's no
21st century.
benefit for the people. The people must benefit.
The people
Read
cannot.
your proclamation.
No,
That's
I've read
what
that. Yeah, but the people in this country now, they cannot afford to pay electricity bills.
That's a
We're
fact.
slaves to try and get money together to pay ESB or electricity bills or utility bills. This is the problem.
Huh?
You
This
see,
is the
this is
problem.
where we are
Oh, they're
slaves.
being controlled again.
Yes.
Right, the slave drivers, they're used to the same.
Oh, this is the new brand of slave drive.
And that's
Yes.
the problem now is it's a corporation that's running the whole world.
There's no morality and there is
they
no
don't have to
humanity.
account to it. They don't
They're
want to account
gone.
to anybody.
No.
But they just get rid of you because you're no good to them anymore.
But the point is, Billy, as well, in the pandemic situation that we've had for the last 2 years, we have a government that will not take proper control of the rights of the people.
Well, we've
They're
only got
listening.
a provisional government, you see.
But they're listening to NEFET and NIAC and all of these,
They're being controlled.
and they are controlled. So they're appearing. All the political parties are appearing then to actually say, "Oh, look, we're protecting you." They're not protecting us because the Delta variant is far less serious than, the Omicron is far less serious than the Delta. And this is the problem. Oh, why have all of these restrictions come in again? It's all wrong.
We're supposed to be in Europe. Dáil Éireann has never sat in Leinster House.
Yeah.
Leinster House was bought for the Free State.
Yes.
And until that is signed and sealed under the sovereign seal of Dáil Éireann.
Yes.
And I want to ask Europe about that coin taken up. If you take a coin out of your pocket
Yes.
with the euro coin,
Yeah.
how can they say, and we'll show you one in a moment,
Yes.
how can they collude with that?
Mm.
That is, take the sovereign seal that the GA have taken up.
Correct.
Is that symbol of the serpent going to be up in that coin from now on? You know, people have to stand up.
Yes.
You're selling your own people, your own children and your grandchildren.
Yes.
And I would imagine there's a huge effort for you to rear those children and give them an education.
Of course it is. And I think,
as you said, and yet here they are, and they won't stand up for them.
but you see, the point is we're hoodwinked.
Yeah.
That's the problem. And I just before I conclude, I want to say a very sincere thank you, Billy, not only for the marvellous, informative, discussional interviews you've done with me over the last 2 years. It has been an honour knowing you. And we have a lot of work to do in 2022.
Are we going to do the other piece, or have you any?
But what I'll do is, what I want to do is, I want to thank a number of people as well.
Right.
The great people that you have in America that are spreading these interviews
Bespoke.
all over.
There's a whole group.
There's a whole group there.
Of great Irish. We
They're-
never knew any of this.
They're doing our PR work for us.
Yeah.
And also, I'd like to say a very special hello to Jerry Donovan.
Very
who
good.
is a
Jerry's
lovely
doing
man.
all that measurement in Girl, and he's really into that. And
Fionn Coughlin.
Yeah.
To Anthony Sheehy, who is a lovely man. Great to get to know him
William
again.
Sheehan.
And William Sheehan, a
And
marvellous
with
man.
Kevin now, who's the
And
councillor,
Kevin, yes.
he's taking this on board, and they're going to make
Lovely.
a heritage centre,
Fantastic.
and a heritage town.
Well, it's
And it'll
wonderful.
be one of the best. I mean, we're talking about the
But when you look at
map of
Askeaton,
Monday.
but when you
The
look
whole
at Askeaton,
world,
look what's
Kevin,
there.
the whole world,
Yes.
John, is looking for the map of Monday. It's below in Askeaton. We can show it you there if you want to see it.
Yes, it's
And
in
they don't know
the
where it
castle.
is.
We
What?
have the castle in Askeaton, the friary. What you have educated me and all the viewers as well.
And you saw 1776
Yes.
taking the Star of David
Yes,
to Washington to build the White House and to build Washington that's the blueprint. And it was Hoban, the architect, an Irish architect. He was the one who did it. It's the replica of Leinster House.
my God.
And American people don't know where their sovereignty came from. And it below in Askeaton. And that's what Christopher Columbus came. He came to see the map of Monday in the friary.
Yes,
And we can show it you there any day you want.
great.
He couldn't have gone to America, as we call it today, without knowing that, and to the stars and everything else. And we did it. You did it. It's up in your
Yes,
up the website
yes.
with all that information on it. And it all comes from Knockgord, that's the sacred site.
We are just incredibly.
And we're not allowed to know anything about it.
We're rich. we're millionaires, we're multi-billionaires in the sense of what is right around us across the country.
And we can't see it. We're not allowed to know.
But
There's
you
no
see-
history taught. Why
No,
are these historians?
the history that has been taught, the teachers that are trained to teach young people, or second level or third level, they know nothing about this.
Nothing.
So you see, this is the problem, Billy, and this whole mental attitude and concept of teaching has to change because the younger generation are very much switched on now, and they want to know, like all European counterparts, they want to know exactly their heritage and where they came from. And
Can you see this now?
I can. Isn't that marvellous? Look at that.
This is what it's all about. That's
Correct.
what those people gave their lives for us for. That is your proclamation, which we said. And look, you cannot understand the 1918 32 county election or any of that going back to 1155. That's where it comes from.
Yes.
All that is remembered and all
Yes.
that is kept. And that's all we're doing here today. Keeping that alive, that this will come for the Irish people, their sovereignty.
Lovely.
And that's what it is.
Billy, I think you're a genius.
I'm not.
But look, folks, over the last, since I started the What Matters programme 6 years ago, it has just mushroomed into a stage, a level of programming I didn't expect. We don't need an FM licence or community broadcasting to tell the facts as they are. And I'm very, very grateful to the people out there and supporting in their thousands of our interviews in all directions. And we will ever be in the debt of the great, our friend, Billy McGuire.
No, I only do it for the people. People are suffering.
Well, that's it. But someday the penny.
And I'm not trained
Someday the penny will drop. But Billy, just to wish you and your family, your extended family here in Adair, and our little friend Lotte, my friend Lotte, a very, very happy, a peaceful, safe Christmas.
Thank you, John.
And we have a lot of work to do.
We do
next year. And by God,
that has to be done. That I can't go on until Pope Francis and the Queen of England get together and sort out what happened here in 1155.
Well, it's going to come. The pressure is mounting.
We'll have to take it to the European Courts of Justice.
That's where it should be.
And that's where it
and
should
you're the
be
very man
along.
with the IRB and John Robinson, a great man. You will do it. You will do it. But for the moment, Billy, Gora Mila Mockett, August Lawn, a great honour talking to you.